It's a psychoactive compound that comes from a tree native to Central Africa.
Rewires the way your brain views addiction and has a high level of effectiveness.
Interesting.
A psychedelic drug called Ibogaine.
Ibogaine.
So a few weeks ago, I did one of the most powerful plant medicines on the planet, Iboga. I've done some of the other plant medicines, ayahuasca, mushrooms, 5-MeO-DMT, all of these different plant medicines. And I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to do this. Like, I don't have addiction issues. Why would I go do this crazy plant medicine that is so powerful and so potent? Fast forward a couple weeks later, and my good friend Jacqueline calls me. There's something different about the way her voice sounded when we got on the phone. And she said, I just did Iboga. It was amazing. It felt so incredible. I healed all this trauma. I'm so connected to myself. And after listening to it, I thought to myself, dang it, I do have to go do this. I talked with the facilitator, Peter, and for me, I think one of the most important things is who you do the medicine or the therapy with. It's almost as important as the actual medicine, and Peter was just an incredible human being. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you on my journey, what it was like to do Iboga, the experience, my fear behind it, behind the scenes. I'll be telling you about it. You'll be hearing from Peter as well. Just keep watching the video, and I'll see you guys on the other side. We just finally landed in Phoenix, Arizona, and now we're headed to Sedona, Arizona, another 2-hour car ride. We got 2 days until the ceremony. The one thing the guy said before the ceremony is make sure you get a lot of sleep. We have not accomplished that. So the plan is tomorrow to get as much rest as we can, and Sunday afternoon we go into the ceremony. So tomorrow, Saturday, rest, and then go into it. Let's go. We have made it to Sedona. It feels fucking awesome here, man. Like, the place is just like, I feel like I'm in a Western movie being here. That's what it feels like, and I love that genre as a kid, so something about it really feeds my soul. The point of today is just to be more connected to myself, a bit more reflective, spend time in nature, spend some time sleeping. I'm gonna go down to the creek right now, get a massage, and then hopefully sleep this afternoon and rest and recuperate before Sunday. So that's the plan. One day left, finally able to just like calm my nervous system down a little bit after all of our travel the last couple weeks. You know, some things I'm hoping to get out of the experience is better understand how I can love myself more. I think sometimes in my life it's easier to love others and support others rather than myself, and so I want to understand how to do that at a deeper and deeper level with myself. This medicine's a bit more calm in that, like, you can ask it very specific, indirect questions, and you have a lot of access to your subconscious mind, which is where we hold and store all that information. Or something like ayahuasca, you're so taken by the medicine, and it can be like you're in these scary dreams, and you don't know which way is up from down, you don't know where you are, who you are, all these things. I'm looking forward to just journaling more and figuring out which questions I want to ask, and then seeing what kind of insight actually comes through the experience. You know, I've done a lot of studying of the greatest minds in human history, like the people who really changed the planet. Zeno, who was one of the teachers of Aristotle as well, like all these really, really intelligent minds. They talk about how when a man conquers himself, he conquers the world. I think as any human being, and especially as any man, we're very focused on like, how do we have the most incredible life? A lot of joy and purpose, but also great relationships and money and all these things that are really amazing. And so how do you conquer yourself? You go deeper into yourself. You understand who you are, what blocks you, what prevents you, what motivates you, what inspires you, all of these different things. And so these medicines and these journeys are really just opportunities to go deeper into the understanding of myself. I go into the cave, so to speak, I learn the lesson, and then I can take it, I can share it with other people too. And so that's one of the many goals of doing it. Today's a big day. Nervous. It's going to be a long week. just kind of prepping my nervous system for that. You know, you always hear like hippie people who do plant medicines talk about like how your body knows and the medicine starts working the moment you decide to do it. But I'm just noticing like all these old memories and thoughts, things I haven't thought about in a long time, if ever, are all kind of showing up. And so the journey has already started. I'm just kind of excited to get there. I was talking with my best friend a little bit earlier on this morning, and one of the things that he said is like, this is scary, but that's why people pay you to do what you do, is you go to the places most people are scared to go to. I'm doing the things that others are scared to do so I can take back the lessons that others don't have. And so I'm excited. Let's go. We are at the ceremony house. This is where I'm going to be doing the ceremony and actually where I'm going to be staying for the next 7 days. Let's go check out the house. Let's see Peter, let him show us around the space, and also do a little interview with him and hear a little bit more about the medicine. Let's go.
So Iboga is a tree or shrub that grows in Gabon, Cameroon. It grows in the jungle, kind of wild. Tempranillo Iboga, I think is the Latin name. The roots of this tree have these alkaloids in them. There's about 100 or so alkaloids, Ibogaine being the most well-studied, probably the most potently psychoactive, but there's at least another 10 or 12 that they know are also psychoactive. So yeah, Ibogaine is just, they extract one of the alkaloids out of the plant. And so a lot of places that use it in more of a Western medical model, usually it's more associated with addiction recovery. It is very powerful and it has a really good track record. It's just, Iboga is a more holistic approach. You know, you're including all those other alkaloids. A lot of people say Iboga is stronger and a more intense, longer lasting experience. Like you think of a coffee bean and has caffeine in it. Ibogaine is like just pure caffeine pill, and Iboga is like drinking coffee. It tends to be a more physically grueling experience when you just do pure root bark.
Here we go.
Wow.
And that's how it's shipped, kind of in that form. What I do is I grind that into a very fine powder. I capsulate it. TA is extracted using just food grade vinegar. So it's like a tincture. You'll be getting both of those tonight.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel a little bit better after chatting with him. I want to understand, like, what's my subconscious made of? What am I not seeing that's holding me back from a life of more joy, more peace, more love, more connection? I'm nervous, but more excited than anything. It's less about some outcome and more like doing clearing to understand what's within me. The ego really works to make sure that we are always good or look good. At a more basic level for human beings, it's to avoid any responsibility, any lack of awareness of that. So it's like we just can't even see that because our ego goes, oh, that's painful. And so our shadow is really about understanding what are our bad parts? What are the bad things we do? How do we act out of false intention, the mask we wear? The illusions, it's the dishonesty, it's the selfishness. You know, Freud and Jung and a lot of the really famous psychologists, especially Jung, talks a lot about our shadow. And our shadow is like the part that we're not aware of that is in the background running the show. For me, it's just another trial, another test, another deepening into who I am. And that's really what this experience is going to be about for me, is just deeper understanding of who I am. I sat by the fire with Peter the first evening, and we took the medicine. It's in pill form. And we had about 45 minutes before it started to kick in. I'm laying on the bed. I start to hear this buzzing or this humming, this loud noise in the distance. And as I start to hear it, the pace of the energy starts to pick up. It's like, I can feel something starting to happening. And in my body, I'm feeling all this movement, almost kind of like this fiery energy moving in my body. I had an eye mask on, but it was crazy because my third eye, or your pineal gland, was so open. I just started to see visions, pictures, moments of my life, but I wasn't able to grasp any of them. But I'm just seeing these different things go by. And what I first really remember being tangible was this whole life review. I just started to see all these moments of me as a kid, me as a teenager, me in high school, me in college. It was just like flashing all these different moments and different experiences. And some of them I could go into and I could feel what it was like. I could feel what it was like in my previous relationship, to see how we interacted and to see where I could have been a better boyfriend and how I needed more from her as well. And I just started seeing these experiences. It was the most bizarre and powerful thing. And as I went through that first ceremony, one of the biggest takeaways was the life review. All of these different moments. And I started to see through the veil of who I have created, the person that I am, and how I want other people to perceive me and how I come across in the world. And I just saw this version of me, I guess the ego side of me. And I just felt like, man, how silly he is. Why isn't he just himself? Why does he have to be this guy that travels with a beard and wears clothes like this and talks like this? It was just like this weird third way of looking at myself where I just thought, where's that childlike part of me? Where's that soul? And I really got connected to that through the experience as I saw that there's these masks that we put up in life. There are these elements where we don't let ourselves be fully seen. It was so powerful for me to actually see through the veil of who am I at a soul level. Not my name, not my profession, not my hairstyle, not my clothes, not my friends, not my relationships, but who am I at the core? As I started diving deeper into that and seeing these experiences, these moments, I started seeing how this version of me, this selfish part of me, this part that wants to be liked, how he's hurt people along the journey, how I've hurt people in relationships, how I've been selfish with family members, how I've been selfish with friends. I just started to see all these different moments in my life, and it was really difficult to actually watch it. But as I went through that whole experience, and I don't know how long it was, I really started to come to some peace with recognizing that, damn, I'm not perfect. I am far from it. Damn, I got some issues. And when you spend hours going through every uncool thing you've ever done in your life, you start to come to a different level of humility within yourself. So that first experience, I went through that. Then I asked the medicine some questions. And one of the coolest parts about it is you can interact with it. Just about every other plant medicine, you don't have this interface with the medicine where, I said, show me where I'm going to live in the future. And it showed me this picture of this beautiful beach. And then I said, show me what my life is going to look like. And I saw this postcard with this family on it. And all of a sudden I could step into the postcard. It was like in front of me and I could just walk into the picture. And the same thing with the beach. I could just walk into it. And I walked into the postcard and I was there with my kids and I was there with my wife and I could just see the joy on my face. Before I went into the picture and I saw the postcard, I saw myself sitting there smiling. I was holding one of my sons in my arm. I had my other 3 kids next to me. I had my wife next to me. And I saw this smile on my face. The joy that I had on my face. And I thought to myself, I have never smiled like that in my life. That picture showed me what is truly important in life. It's not how much money's in the bank account. It's not how cool the trips are, the yachts. It was literally being there with my family, so deep in love and care and support and this playful side of me that I don't let out enough. This fun, loving, playful side of me that I got to see myself being with my kids. I came out of that just with clarity. I'm like, this is what is important in life. I'm going to take actions towards that life with that family rather than a life of adventure and party only.
Yeah, he did it. He did a great job. This is a really challenging. It can be challenging on lots of different levels: physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. A lot of people describe it as the hardest thing they've ever done in their life. He really let the medicine in and had a deep experience. He's recovered well today. We're going to do a little spiritual shower in a little bit when he wakes up, and then we'll dive into round 2 tonight. We just do a little ritual between the first and the second ceremony to give people a chance to verbalize and be witnessed. And people generally come to this experience wanting to change, wanting to let go of maybe bad habits, old ways of being, old thought patterns, and step into new, more evolved, more aspirational ways of being. And this is just a process to give them a chance to declare it before another human being, before God, your higher power. A powerful experience and a way to be witnessed in your transformation.
And so going into ceremony 2, I was scared, but by the next day I was ready. And as I went into the ceremony, I started to have a vision that felt like a real thing. Every bad thing I had ever done was slowly getting exposed to everyone. And every mean text message, every single person I've ever talked to bad about behind their back was being shared with them. I was watching it all happen like a movie. As I went deeper into that journey, I just watched every single person I had ever known, liked, start to turn their back on me. And I went through what was the deepest ego death I've ever been through. I sat in the realization at the end of this experience that everyone I knew or loved didn't want to have anything to do with me. I lost all the money. I lost my reputation. I lost my business. I lost my websites. I lost my social media. I lost every single thing in my life that I knew and loved. And I spent the next 5 hours sitting there in the belief that that was my reality. And I remember as I laid there in bed, I thought to myself, do I even keep going on or do I just kill myself? Why would I go on? My parents don't want to speak to me. My siblings don't want to speak to me. My friends don't want to speak to me. Man, it was the deepest, emptiness I've ever felt. What I was able to take away from it is that even when I had nothing, I still had myself. even when I had nothing, I still am the type of person that was going to get up and try. Man, I came out of that experience and I just thought, wow, I'm changed. Something at the core of how I operate as a human being has been shifted. And as hard as that experience was to go through, I let go of all this deep shame and guilt. What a crazy experience. And so at one point, I'm laying on the mat with Peter and we're talking. We had this beautiful opportunity where I went into repentance for every uncool thing I've ever done in my life. The worst ones I could think of. The times I lied, a time I cheated, all these things. And I just sat there in prayer with Peter. All of a sudden I hear his front door open. I start hearing someone come across the family room. I can hear their socks or their feet kind of wisping across the top of the floor. I can hear the floorboards creak, and then all of a sudden someone sits down right next to Peter, and it's light out in the room. And so I see this person sat down, but they had this it was like they had this cape over them of 1,000 tiny little mirrors. And so Peter grabbed my hand and he goes, when 2 or more people come together and they call upon Jesus, he is there with them. And in that moment he said, let's invite Jesus into the conversation. And I looked at him and I said, he's already here. He's sitting next to you. And he's like, what? I could just feel the presence of this being. There was something or someone sitting next to Peter that had this energy that I could feel from 2 meters away. This power, this magnetism, this strength. So Peter and I went through this process of repentance, of asking for forgiveness to God, to the universe, to Jesus, for everything I've done wrong in my life. And as we went through that experience, I was able to see this figure get up at the end of it and leave the room. I know it sounds crazy. It was like nothing I've ever felt. The energy was so powerful and true and clean. And so I came out of that experience, the second one, feeling rejuvenated. The way the medicine was different from dose 1 to dose 2 is it showed me all the things I needed to see to really believe the experience was real. Like even to the point where one of my friends was logging into my bank account, stealing all my money. And on this computer screen I could see, I watched him type in my real password. Like it was so detailed and potent for me. Dose 1 was really about just healing the past. And dose 2 is really about cementing who I am in the present and the future. I couldn't recommend it enough. Obviously with the right setting, the right professional, it is such a powerful and incredible experience to be able to have, and definitely not one for the faint of heart. To face those deep shadow elements of myself, to come out on the other side and still to choose love for myself and for others, even after going through that, I think is the real testament to it.
So day 7, probably feel like you've been through hell and back, but you did fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
You walked through it with integrity and courage, and it was a joy to work with you. And
Thank you.
This healing process has actually just begun, even though it probably feels like you're at the end of a marathon. Iboga, and this process is still going to be in you strongly, and you're going to probably be more sensitive. And it's a time to really take care of yourself. That's just my favorite part of the experience, is seeing the actual results and the real world consequences. And specifically with you, what really touched me and what I really enjoyed was that, you're allowing yourself to open up in that yin side to show that vulnerability at times, which really is a show of strength. In truth, spiritual strength, letting me into your process and being so honest and vulnerable with certain aspects of yourself. My favorite part of this work is when people are really, really courageously honest and can show that soft underbelly. I let people invite me in, and Alan did a great job of doing that, like asking for help when you needed help. That was the highlight for me, is when he did that. And
working with you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I mean it. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, I won't.
After I'd done the medicine, for me, the biggest change I noticed is I was just calm. I operated from a lot more love, less rush in my life, more peace, more calm. But now, almost 5 months after the experience, those changes have been real in my life. Like the way I navigate my life, the way I show up for people, the way I prioritize what I'm going to do with my life and what I'm not going to do. All of those things are based upon the learnings I had from the medicine. And so even though the weeks afterward was great for calming and being connected to myself and being more loving and more peaceful, the real integration and the real value I've gotten is that it's actually altered how I show up with other human beings in relationship, and it has altered what I want for the future and how I'm actually making the choices that choose the future that I know is closest to my heart. And I appreciate you guys for watching along on the journey, and I hope it was valuable for you. If you like content like this, let me know, drop me a comment, follow me, subscribe, whatever it is. I would love to do more journeys like this around the world if other people are getting value from it. As always, get on your path. You got one life to live. Step into it. Let's go get it.